For months now, I've been tracking and looking into multiple homeless encampments across Seattle and King County.
We're working hard in this area.
City and state agencies are finally taking aggressive action, clearing some of the largest and most visible ones on public property.
You can't be continuing to create these safety hazards on our right-of-ways.
While officials say most campers are accepting services and shelter, some are refusing and creating a crisis in the woods.
I'm a person who likes to be away from people.
For years, some have preferred to stay hidden in these lush havens.
Like the other.
Kaylee Gordon says with the city's ongoing crackdown on illegal camping, she's seeing more of her homeless friends escaping to these areas. A few months ago, she was also forced to leave an encampment. Do you feel safe out here?
Do I feel safe? Yeah, there's a reason why I keep coming back here, I guess.
But it's creating unintended consequences. A lot of needles and needle caps. Here in West Seattle, massive wooden structures, abandoned tents, mounds of trash and needles litter this hillside off Detroit Avenue Southwest, and it's growing. You know, there's that big shack up there. Do you know who lives up there?
That's Boston's father. He's a good friend of mine.
Behind South Seattle College, this opening near the Chinese Garden leads into the West Umish greenbelt.
That was a push. Target's about 4 miles away from here.
A complicated network of pathways now covered in garbage and drug paraphernalia.
There's not a lot of young people who come through here.
You're comfortable picking up these needles with your bare hands?
Yeah.
Annalisa Lafayette lives nearby and says she's not sure how many campers are using this site.
The stuff gets rifled through and gets spread out again. More needles get exposed.
No one was around when we visited.
There are going to be people who choose to stay homeless.
She's concerned for their safety, but also the environmental impact.
Let's track it. Let's see what's happening.
She wants city, county, and state agencies to take immediate action. How did you find this, Vivian?
Just on my daily walk.
In White Center, the signs say this is a wetland and considered fragile habitat with all kinds of wildlife.
Environmentally sensitive area.
Yet Vivian McPeak says it's illegally being used by homeless people to hang laundry, cook food, and pitch tents.
I mean, everybody needs a place to stay. Everybody needs to camp somewhere, but not in an environmentally protected area.
After a short walk, we met this man who only wants to be called Muhammad. He's building a hut with a thatched roof.
This person's been sawing off trees, limbs, a lot of them.
Muhammad says he's simply using lifeless branches. Oh, you cut it right here?
Right here. This one is back already.
Oh, Deadwood.
Yeah.
Deadwood,
Yeah.
okay. And in unincorporated King County, just outside of Kent, the woods off Green River Road are full of majestic trees. But once you walk inside, it's a full-blown disaster. It's just surrounded by abandoned encampments, just trash everywhere. Some of the waterways are clogged with debris, and there are dozens of bicycles, broken tents, and other personal belongings scattered nearly everywhere. Yeah, it's just incredible how campers brought all this stuff up this rough terrain.
It's a family out here.
Whitney Silvera is homeless and says she's intentionally living here with her boyfriend, hoping it continues to give them some cover.
I feel safe here. I don't have to worry about the people harassing you on the street or looking at you less than while you're walking around.
She estimates more than 30 people stay within this network of trails.
And I know there's a lot more on the other side.
With ongoing encampment cleanups across the state, she's also seeing more homeless people retreating into the woods.
And I've seen a lot of different people coming in and out.
But right now, it's unclear if anyone truly knows the magnitude of this problem.
As you can see at the beginning,
Seattle unveiled its new homelessness dashboard last month, but it does not show exact locations of encampments, especially in the woods. And there's nothing like this in other counties or at the state level. As I walked deeper into the vast forest, I discovered even more campsites with clear signs of life. After more than an hour of exploring, I spoke to a man who works on Green River Road. He wants to remain anonymous, fearing retaliation from people living in the woods.
And the fire department's gone up for OD victims.
He says just in the past few months, firefighters also trekked through this constellation of trails to put out flames started by the homeless.
They take their hoses up the hills, and when they come back down, their hoses are literally been drugged through feces and urine and everything else.
So far this year, Puget Sound Fire responded to dozens of medical emergencies in the woods, including 7 fires. But a department spokesperson says he's not sure how many are actually related to the homeless community. As I exited through an opening, it led me back onto Green River Road, an area lined with RVs and even more piles of trash. Stephen Rubio lives in his vehicle.
People out here dumping garbage, and they're saying it's us.
The King County Sheriff's Office says it's become a notorious chop shop for stolen cars, but cautions against blaming the homeless for all the problems.
Unfairly blamed. Yeah, they're saying we're the ones that are doing it.
Now as years go by, oh how I try to make memories my reality.
Back in West Seattle, Gordon showcases her gift as a musician and enormous potential.
I don't want to fade. No, I don't want to fade.
But admits she's also struggling with an addiction to hard drugs.
My heroin was always my DOC.
Her music and these woods, now a refuge and temporary escape from the pain.
It's the people, it's the friendships I've made around here that I know that they're not going to hurt me.
Coming up in part 2 of our series,
there's at least 20,000 pounds of trash.
neighbors, community advocates, and elected officials see the problem.
Unless you're willing to show some types of tough love in the homeless battle, you're never going to get anywhere.
But right now, very little is being done about this crisis in the woods. What's the holdup? Who's taking responsibility? And what are the immediate and long-term solutions?